With Dudley, Dudley tried to keep his demons to himself, but he was seeing a shrink trying to hold it together. So, what does anybody think that seeing a shrink or whatever is helpful, or does it make things worse?
It didn't help Dudley. It didn't help Dudley. And then it depends on the shrink. And look at the shrink, Dr. Laverne, okay? Look at the shrink. Freak shrink, right? I mean, didn't he?
And that's what it is. When you go to a shrink, you think they're supposed to help you, and they are on a different ethical level, but everybody.
But remember what happened with this particular shrink. He did what everybody else does, and that is he became entranced by Raven, because Dudley was going to him, and so was David, going out of town to go to the shrink, and both of them are talking about Raven, this Raven. And after a while, he's like, well, shoot, I heard she was a bad, bad girl. I need to find out for myself. Yeah.
And then, so Raven found out their secrets. And you know what Raven does when she finds out secrets? She turns around and uses it.
But you know what? I want to know, in this book, don't you guys think that Raven, I thought she was pretty good. I thought she's still Raven, but she was trying to help her husband. Look at how she sacrificed herself with that Minshew guy. Remember? What did she get out of it? But no, with the Minshew guy, she was actually trying to get the endorsement of the newspaper, and if she got the endorsement of the Austin American-Statesman, that would just kind of put him over the top. And Raven was first lady. It was self-serving. But Sheila, you know what? I think we all need to give her credit, because Raven was a straight soldier on that one. She was a soldier. The man was unattractive. Does anybody recall how unattractive he was? Okay, hold on.
Sheila, while she looks for that, I wanted to say that apparently, as good as you want us to think of Raven, apparently there needs to be another book, Bad Girl Gone Good, so that eventually we'll come to find her as wonderful as you want us to eventually
come to
think.
Worse, maybe. I don't know.
But I have the passage, and I think that she did take one for the team. They needed that endorsement very badly. If you would just let me read this part about she was getting ready to go try to have sex with Jerry.
Try to freak Jerry.
Yeah, and
so
make
she
him
could get
give
her
him
husband
the
that
endorsement.
endorsement.
Okay. She's in her closet. She thought about Jerry Minshew. A loser like him would definitely want sexy. He probably never dated anyone who wasn't as funny looking as he was. And Minshew was pretty funny looking. He was one of those men who wore his blackness on his sleeve because at first glance he often was mistaken for white. Minshew was very fair-skinned and had gray eyes. That worked well for some black men, but he wasn't one of them. He'd been partially bald for years with a big horseshoe-shaped gap in the middle of his oddly shaped head. One day, he up and decided to get hair plugs. Minshew's swollen scalp hadn't even completely healed from getting the plugs put in before he started getting the luxurious locks taken out. Journalists are cruel people, and even within that group, the folks at the Austin American-Statesman were mean-spirited breed in their own right. They made fun of Minshew to his face, behind his back, and although they didn't know it, in Minshew's dreams. Miss Piggy with a pen, they called him. His scalp wasn't bare anymore, but now it was covered with scars rather than hair. It looks like a dog's chew toy. Minshew's body was harder to look at than his angry red scalp. He carried about 80 extra pounds around on his ordinary frame, and he wore the weight more like a woman than a man. Fat ass. Pregnant.
He sounds really like a good person.
Pregnant, low-slung gut, enormous saddlebags, and spare tires all around. Minshew was a major yuck, a make a woman throw up kind of guy.
And she went and slept with this guy, or did whatever she did. I'm not sure if we know what she did, but she did that for her husband.
To get the endorsement.
And then, ladies,
To be first lady.
and check it out. What was the end result? What was the end result?
They got the endorsement from the paper.
She worked the paper. She worked the reverend, because the reverend was working his butt out for her husband. Right? She worked the reverend, freaked the reverend, dumped the reverend.
They should have made her governor.
I believe she wanted the prestige without having to do the work. It was like she wanted the position.
Well, my heroine was Grace.
Oh my goodness.
I loved Grace. And not only because she started off really in a bad way and very weak, but I think she found her voice and she found herself and at the end of that book. And so I really thought a lot of her. And I actually kind of identified with her a way too. Perhaps that's part of it. But I thought that of all the characters in the book, she was the one that I thought grew the most. I mean, even more than Callie.
She did. She took a journey. I thought she did.
But, well, as far as the book is concerned, we know that we went through a journey with Raven and Callie and everybody, and the end result, he does get the true prize. But at the end of the book, Raven is sitting in a coffee shop, and she's reading the paper. She had gotten some dirt on Sweeney, the main person that was running against him. He had withdrawn from the race. And Dudley, she had blackmailed him to the point that the sawed-off shotgun
came out of the closet. We'll leave it at that.
The sawed-off shotgun came out of the closet. So she was just basking in the glory. Someone comes up behind her. Guess who it is?
Snatches that ponytail, doesn't he?
And
grabs
says,
her by, I love it. Grabs her by that ponytail and
I'm
twists
back,
her around.
and I'm not going anywhere until we're even. So that was Omar. And I just want to know, where has Omar been?
I think, well, where he's been, we don't know yet. But as he told her at the end of Bad Girls Finish First, Omar's revenge has got to be had. And so the next book is Aw Sookie Sookie, which, you know, we all know.
Wow.
Aw Sookie Sookie, Omar's Revenge. So, ladies, thanks once again.
Thank you.